Okay, how to get the very best out of your treadmill training. Now, this is a great question that I'm going to read, but it's a great question for me too, because I've lived in super cold countries like Norway and Sweden. I've lived in really hot countries like Dubai and Thailand, where you kind of stuck on a treadmill for especially the hard work for a large portion of the year. Super hot in Asia right now. And in the winter, and we're just coming out of the winter, kind of like April, May, a lot of Swedes, especially in the north of Sweden or middle Sweden, they're on the treadmill for 4 or 5 months of the year. And that creates things like problems with calves, problems with hamstrings. All the posterior chain is weak, because if we look at the treadmill and the motion it is compared to running on the road or the track or the trail, it's moving away from you. And so naturally, a little bit like super shoes, if you're being propelled forward, your calf, your hamstring and your glutes are not going to have to do the same work. So it's a shock to the system. If you've been on the treadmill for 3, 4, 5 months, then you try to run quick outside, you look at the 3:45 that you've been running on the treadmill and you can't get anywhere close to it. So it's shocking and it's demotivating. Totally get it. But here's the question. How about treadmill? Does it work? Or how to train on the treadmill? I come from Taiwan, so it's almost summer in my country, so I spent many times training on a treadmill. I can run 3:45 per kilometer for about 20 to 30 minutes, but I can't run faster than this pace outside for 5K. Okay, so why is it so different running on a treadmill? Why is that speed not translating across when you get back out on the road or out on the grass or the trail? Now, I train a lot on the treadmill, specifically for races and the harder sessions. But when I'm in Dubai and when I'm in Thailand, it starts to get really hot. There seems to be no other alternative. And when I was in Sweden and Norway, we're literally indoors for the entire winter because it's too icy, it's too slippy outside. The risk of injury is high. So how can you get around that and work in an optimal way with your training in order to gain those benefits from the treadmill, of which there are many, and we'll go through those now, in order to race as optimally as you possibly can. So when I'm training specifically for a marathon, specifically for 50K uphill, a great place to be is the treadmill, because I can just go, I've got my drink in front of me, I'm taking on exactly the right amount of carbohydrates per hour. The pace is exactly as it should. I'm looking at my watch, I've got my heart rate monitor on, it's there in front of me, and I know exactly what effort that I'm doing, and all the conditions are the same. So the gym temperature will be 22, 23, 24 degrees. It's nice and comfortable for me. I get used to it. I've usually got a fan on me. So one of the things about running inside on a treadmill is that the air is very still. If you've got a fan on you, it makes a massive difference. You get very comfortable, and you you probably have a treadmill that you really enjoy running on that's perfect for you. And treadmills, as I said before, the ground is moving away from you. So although you're able to up the effort, it's not exactly, it's not identical to running outside. So, as I said, a lot of my friends from Sweden and Norway that are indoors for a lot of the winter, if they come out and try to use all that fast speed and fitness in a race, they'll often get minor calf injuries or hamstring injuries and glute injuries because those muscles have been weakened. Not weakened in a way that you're still training, you're still running, you're still going through the motion, but they're not doing the work that you would have to run 3 minutes 45, for example, from your question, from your comment, they're not doing that when you are running on the treadmill. And so when you go outside and you try to match the same pace, it's not the same. So what I will do is I'll go in, everything is controlled. So you've got to take the benefits, so the positives from running on the treadmill, so you can really monitor your effort. And if I put 0.1 kilometers per hour extra, I'll see exactly what that does, if anything, to my heart rate. Put 0.5 kilometers on, I'll see what I'm doing there, and I'll be able to work in the different zones and those intervals, whether it's 1 minute interval, 2 minute interval, 3 minute interval, 5 minute interval, or 10 minute interval, very, very well controlled. So I can see a lot from those sessions. And whether it's a specific long run towards the race that I'm training towards, or whether it's an interval session, treadmill is absolutely brilliant. But in order for your body to keep up muscular system, in order for that to keep up and for you not to be as in shock when you get back outside, you've got to be doing the rest of the stuff outside. So if my week looks something like 6 runs, Wednesday interval session, weekend Sunday long run, and then I'll have a rest day on the Thursday, then the Friday, Saturday, Monday and Tuesday, I'll be running easy outside. So if that's hot, like it is right now in Taiwan, that will be super slow. So I was asked recently about holidays. If I go on holiday, it's really hot, what should I do in order to kind of like cope with the conditions? Of course, you've got to keep hydrated, you've got to get the electrolytes in, but you've got to look at the heart rate and you've got to judge your recovery runs and easy runs off effort. That doesn't mean you're not still getting the muscular benefit. So you're moving the calves over the ground, the hamstrings are engaged, and you're thinking as you're running, as I'll always say, your recovery runs, your easy runs, but all your runs, great opportunity to practice running. So you should be trying to become the best possible runner that you can be, and the best possible runner that you can be is going to be pushing off from the glutes, so your glutes are firing on every single step, and you're having fast feet. So even on a recovery run, and if you can do something as slow as possible, so say for instance your recovery run is currently 5 minutes 30 per kilometer, but in the heat right now in Taiwan, you need to put that at 6 minutes 30 per kilometer, practice becoming the best possible runner you can. So fast feet, everything's aligned, toe, ankle, knee, hip, all aligned. You're bringing your arms up to the right level. No matter how slow you're going, you're still the perfect runner, but you're engaging the glute. And if you can practice that at a really slow pace, like in your recovery runs and easy runs, guess what? If you can do that and engage your glute when you're running slow, it's so much easier when you're doing an interval session, you're running fast, or you're doing a race, or you're doing a long run. Because when you're running faster, and you can test this if you go out for an all-out sprint, your glutes you have to do the work with the glutes because your calves are not big enough to do the work. And all of a sudden you become the best version of yourself, your best running version of yourself, because your glutes have to kick in. They have to fire. And that's why if you go out and do a sprint session 20 times 100 meters as fast as you can, the next day you really feel your glutes because they're working in a much more efficient way to propel you forward because you're kind of in flight or flight mode. So you can become a better runner, and once you get into a better season and you're kind of racing and everything's arranged for you in Taiwan, then you can come off the treadmill, get the benefits from running in a controlled condition on the treadmill, running fast and running far, and you've also been getting the heat training from outside, so that's kicking in together with the body is used to moving over the concrete, moving over the tarmac, moving over the trail, wherever you're running, and then you're much more race ready. And so the gap which you need to bridge from going all summer in Taiwan on the treadmill, the key sessions on the treadmill, interval and long run, the gap that you need to bridge is shorter because you've been doing the rest of your runs outside. No matter how hot it is, get yourself outside and go as slow as you possibly need to in order to go at the right effort level, be looking at your watch, be looking at your heart rate. You're gonna get used to it. It might be tricky for the first couple of weeks, but the benefit on the back end, once you come out of summer and you're able to race again and go all out, benefit is massive. And that bridge is not so far to gap. So yeah, good luck, great question. I love these questions. And if you, everything from that, if you kind of reverse that and go sort of for a cold country, being on the treadmill all winter and then getting out to spring. I've been there in Sweden, in Örebro. And I know it's kind of like you get there, I've been running super quick all winter on the treadmill, but not so much outdoors because it's super icy. They're trying to run fast for a 10K or half marathon. It feels like, wow, where's all that pace gone that I've built up in the gym? I know exactly how it feels. So yeah, hopefully that's useful for you. And if it is, please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell and keep your questions coming because they're brilliant. What a knowledgeable crowd.